Welcome back to our video series. This is video number 2 as we recap Who Not How, a book designed to make the life of an entrepreneur much more efficient and effective, and creating time to focus on the things that are important to you. Just a quick recap, and by the way, I'm Michael Lynch. A quick recap on video number 1. There were 3 exercises we had you do at the end of it to write down on a daily basis what it is that you love to do and what you would love to get rid of as part of your entrepreneurial tasks. Number 2, very important because this is a key piece to all of my coaching and the work I do. What is the vision you have for your business? What is that desired outcome when you know you will have been fulfilled and succeeded at what you do? And lastly, to think about who can help you fulfill your vision, because you are not going to get there alone. As we did in the last video, I'm going to share my screen and we'll get into the content of video number 2. Okay, so we're calling this video, we're going to go into the first of 4 entrepreneurial freedoms, and that is the freedom of time. Our authors, Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy, believe in, and they walk you through these 4 freedoms, and they go step by step, time being the first one. Just to give you an example, entrepreneurs choose to be entrepreneurs because they don't want other people controlling their time. They don't believe in trading time for money. They want control on their own of their time. So first thing I want to bring up, and I posted something on LinkedIn about this recently, think about the who's that are currently in your life, and how would your life be different without them? And one of the things I had posted a couple of weeks ago, I was very proud of this. I have a phenomenal accountant. Through correspondence via email, a couple of phone conversations, this man's expertise is so good that took care of my tax return, processed it earlier than I ever have. And I just thought to myself, what would I do without this guy? I'd be waiting till about April 7th and then start throwing things together or asking other people what to do. There's an example of a who freed up hours, tens of hours of time probably. We all have them in our lives. So I want you to be thinking about who they are in your life. He shared a great story about this woman named Sharon Duncan, who was an entrepreneur, overwhelmed, the typical story of, never enough time in the world. And she had this desire to spend more time with her mom, who was a massive baseball fan, and tour the country with her watching baseball games. And just by hiring in her practice a practice manager, she was able to free up time to where her and her mom traveled the country, went to all the World Series games in 2018. They were Boston Red Sox fans. The Sox won that series. And it was just a great example of a who being brought in to cover all of the responsibilities in her business and creating valuable time. She had a why, wanted to spend time with mom, and just needed the person to do the how. The what was traveling throughout the country. So it was a great story. One of the things the authors talk about is the term efficacy, obtaining resources that make the attainment of our goals possible. Keep in mind, you do everything on your own, goals are small. You only take on what you feel you can. Efficacy creates opportunities to cast a bigger vision, have bigger goals, have a bigger present in your life. And they talked about the fact that, think about the types of resources you could acquire to help you. It could be things like money, possessions, friendship networks. These are all things that are designed to, even people who have perspectives on the world that can benefit you in how you do business. They can also give you encouragement, give you their time, give you their attention. And he talked about what it is. I'm really interested in this part of how we choose to create relationships, because that's going to be critical if you embrace who, not how. Our attractions to others are based on two things. Desirability. Do we perceive that we can expand ourselves, be better persons, feel better about who we are? That's one of the factors. And number two, the likelihood. Is there potential for us to get together? Do I sense that I'm interested and that person's interested? This is very important because, again, the who, not how is all based on our relationships. One of the interesting points they made was the opposite of addiction is human connection. And they told a little bit of story about how Alcoholics Anonymous is basically a resource of who's for people who are struggling. Interesting angle. I hadn't really thought about that type of thing. So one of the things to do at any point is count the number, this reflects who's, count the number of collaborative relationships you currently have in your life. You know, I referenced the one with my accountant. There's a lot more than that, but always be thinking about that, because we do that for a reason, and we're already doing it, by the way. This is about expanding it and thinking differently in how you can grow your business. Getting who's is an investment. You know, I have here a series of bullet points, which I'm going to scan pretty quickly, but when you do all the work, there's a massive cost to that, especially your time. Go look at a very stressed out person working 80 hours a week. Use your time on increasing, we're going to talk a lot more about this, high quality activities in your life, critical pillar in this. How requires you to be the one to engage your time and attention to a particular task. We've already talked about with that exercise in the last video. There's a lot of tasks you do every day that you'd prefer to have nothing to do with. Who immediately frees up hundreds of potential hours, which you can spend in better ways. Look at that. In control of your time, freedom of time. There's a lot discussed here about self-expansion, and it occurs through our who's. It's a core motivation. We may not think about this, but we have this natural desire every day to grow and become a better person. Compare yourself to yourself. One of the many things I love about these authors is wipe out the concept of competitors. Oh, that's a drag on just about everything. Focus on your unique abilities. Focus on the great collaborative relationships you can develop with other entrepreneurs. And the way you put that together, no one can compete with that. One of the things I loved about Dan Sullivan, by the way, and I wrote this quote down, his literal quote was, "I'm going to give you maximum opportunity to show up as unique. Not everyone does. Working with me will take your uniqueness to another level." Boy, no one's ever said that to me in my life, but I'd love to be around people who would say something like that. So again, this video is about freedom of time. How do we go about the process of creating collaborative relationships to do a lot of those things that we cannot stand doing or we don't do well, one of the two. And it's the first of 4. I'm excited to tell you about the other 3, but action steps. Here's some things you can be doing. Write down your current list of who's. I use the example of my accountant. It could be your mechanic. It could be your doctor. It could be any number of people who are giving you time freedom in exchange for something you're either not capable of doing or don't want to do. Count down the number of quality collaborations you currently have. It's a similar exercise, but more importantly, in the second bullet point, where are you lacking collaboration and teamwork? Lastly, compare yourself to yourself. What a relief it is. You then focus on growing. You focus on doing the things you are uniquely capable of doing, And as you heard me reference earlier, a key piece to this is we want to get to understanding what your high value activities are. Very important. Thank you very much. Love having you along for this ride. Please continue on. This video series will go for a while. You can see we're really starting to get into the nuts and bolts. Always reach out to me, michaeljlynch.com. Book 1 hour. Say, hey, Lynch, I'm watching this video series. I'm clear on this. I'm not clear on this. It's a free hour. It expands our relationship. It gives us opportunities to maybe be who's for each other. Have fun with this. That's the whole point of it. Make it a great day, and I'll see you soon in the next video.